You can talk about how they're just doing practice right now. It's not a game.
I can talk about that.
You can talk about that if you want
I'll
to.
talk about that.
If you want to.
Just in case all zero of our viewers are wondering. This is just practice.
Until I share it everywhere else.
You're going to share it everywhere, yeah. You're going to make sure to tag me.
Yeah, I'll tag. Oh, shit balls. That's gross.
You're great.
Oh, that's gross. Oh, that's disgusting. Oh, man. Are you laughing at me?
A little bit. Stars starting Wedgwood in goal against the Jets today. Wish I would have known that. That might have impeded, or I might have bet a little less money. Gonna need a big day. Gonna need a big day from Wedgwood. A big day.
Saves when the Stars would take shots on him on opposing teams. Connor Hellebuck on the other side, and it's not the number of shots you worry about with Connor Hellebuck, it's the number of minutes, because 10,889 of them have been played over the last 3 years. That is the most by far of any NHL goaltender. He signs a 7-year contract extension at the start of the year. Are these minutes going to catch up to the Winnipeg Jets at some point? Because they ride Connor Hellebuck, it feels like, for 60 to 70 games a year.
Well, they do, but he had the most wins as American goaltender in one season, 44 wins in 67 games, so he can handle it. Does he get a lot of it? Yeah, but obviously they've talked with him about it. It's just like, Jake, you want to manage the minutes as much as you can.
Those that are joining in, yeah, you can wait. Bye.
Look at those kind of numbers. Now, those are amazing. What is that, 44 wins in 67 games? That is crazy what he did a couple seasons ago.
John,
He's had 60.
just give me a heads up when you go. I'm going to get all my profanity out of my system.
Goals against near 3, a save percentage under 900. We'll see how things look today when Dallas takes on Winnipeg as we are closing out on the drop here on Stars Line, presented by Blue Cross.
Joe Pa.
When we return, Semi breaks down a
JR. Hey, for anybody that's joining in, we're just doing warm-ups right now. Game's going to... First stone's going to be thrown here in about 12 minutes.
start of another. That's the powerful of American Express.
Hey, what happened on the Michigan Penn State game? Till 17-9? Nothing. Okay. How much time's left? Okay.
For everyone who's endured the bad seat, finally, sweet, sweet redemption. The Lexus TX, 3-row luxury that treats every seat like the best seat.
To tell me you want a new iPhone, a better plan's Verizon.
This holiday, turn any iPhone in any condition into a new iPhone 15 Pro in titanium.
7 minutes left. Is Michigan just running the ball?
All three on it. It's holiday every day with
Okay.
Verizon. The best nights start with Jägermeister. 56 botanicals. Always served ice cold.
Around here, we like to keep things simple and honest.
Sure do. That's why at Progressive we show you rates from other companies, even if they're lower than ours, so you can choose what's best for your family.
Comparing rates used to be a hard day's work, but
Thank you, Jen.
Injuries from an IED blast. Unable to run missions with his team, Chris felt lost and turned to adaptive sports during his recovery. Through training and competing at the Warrior Games, Chris has rekindled a drive to be better for his team, his family, and himself. Valley Sports honors technical sergeant Christopher Farrell.
welcome back to Stars Live, presented by
This practice is over. Please prepare to deliver your last stone draw. Please deliver your clockwise last stone draw.
all these clubs are arena clubs. They don't play on dedicated ice. So, like in Vegas, we play on a hockey rink. So this is the championship for arena.
Usually that's why I go to, so then, but the stone, but you know,
Yeah. Yeah, she's putting her gripper back on, so. Did she throw it short? Yeah.
we're the levelers. How are you?
Please deliver your car clockwise. Last number all.
Probably.
Right?
Stop telling you that or you're gonna get frustrated. That was awesome you came by.
Right? Exactly. Exactly. Really do that for so long. Oh, there you go. That's perfect. Exactly. You need to be done. There is a tiebreaker. Yeah, so we're watching everyone play. Right? Yeah. That's fun. Nice. Yeah, they have to share with the hockey team.
Hey, quick update here. Want to thank everybody again for great curling so far. Appreciate it. Reminder to sign the Welcome to Nationals banner when you have a chance. With a signature that's not particularly outsized, because we're going to have participants at every single USA Curling National Championship sign that banner this year. So we'd like to have the arena curlers on it. You'll see there's an arena curlers section there. You can do that. And vaccinations will also be available later today, throughout the day, and late tonight. Thanks.
I don't know what they're up to now. I know that was like, once you get it, was like 250 or something that. And starting for a build, yeah. So that was the goal to start for like our building. So they did that. Yeah.
So, getting back.
They found a building. And
Back,
yeah, yeah.
what did that say? What did the horse say after a trip?
Oh, I didn't
What did the horse say? I can't give you. Why did you hear that they're not going to What do you call well-balanced horse? A well-balanced horse. Stable.
Kenny, Wolverine scored.
That's gay.
4 minutes left.
Okay.
Where the polar bears keep their roost. How do you make an egg roll?
I put it there, so I was gonna go throw it up there. Oh, I didn't know this was open here. Yeah.
Welcome. Welcome. How y'all doing?
I'll go put it over there. Thank you.
Which game are y'all watching?
5.
Number 5? Are you rooting for Asis or Segovia?
I don't know, I have to figure that out. we just came from Hibbing.
Yeah.
And I do Pearl, but
Well, if you're looking for a team to root for, Segovia on sheet 5. They're going for a 3-peat gold medal.
Segovia is what I want.
Out of Team Houston.
I like to be with winners.
Yeah. Well, you're hanging out with one right now.
Good.
Okay, last one. Why cows wear
Who are you cheering for on Segovia? That's who.
Segovia here on sheet 5. The women's team out of Houston, Texas. They've won gold medal 2 years in a row, and they're going for a 3-peat.
Oh, so are we cheering for them? Or
That's who we're cheering for.
Well,
But to all my viewers around the world, I'm going to be broadcast integrity level super high. So I'll try and give you as neutral broadcasting commentary as possible. I am Kenny Cook, as always. Big fan of the one with purple hair blowing a kiss into the camera. That's Heather Cook. I belong to her. Beautiful day up here at Evelyn, Minnesota, the 2023 Curling Arena National Championships. I am Kenny Cook. This is Team Houston and skipped by Julie Segovia against Team Asis out of Silicon Valley. This should be a real barn burner. Both teams are undefeated coming into this game. As many of our viewers know, Team Segovia and Team Houston have won gold medal not once but twice and going for thrice. So, got a good little game coming up. For those that didn't join early, they do last shot draws, closest to the button, 2 shots, 1 in turn, 1 out. The combined distance of those two that's closest gets hammer. Looks like Segovia's going to have hammer this game. So Team Asis out of Silicon Valley is going to start things off here. Lead stones. I'll go ahead and zoom in, and we're going to kick things off. Happy Saturday.
You'll know what's going on. Yeah, well, listen. There's no commercials on this one, is there?
No commercial breaks. You're just stuck with me.
I'm so glad we sat here.
I'm glad you sat here.
Yeah, me too. I'm glad you saw this. I didn't. Oh, I watched both of them.
Little bit heavy on the first shot. They were calling for a 3 guard. That draws all the way down to the top of the button, top 4, just off center line. Segovia not going to mess with it, not scared. Actually, a pretty aggressive play call straight out of the gate. She's going to ask lead Jess Bostwick, Big Bo Bostwick, to throw. I take that back. She is going to mess with it. This is hit weight. I thought she was calling for a corner guard, but she's not going to mess around. A hit, and it's rolling, and it's going to roll out. Clean house.
Okay, so they're going to
There's nobody here. Where was it advertised?
I don't know.
Lucky
But
that I called my friend and she told me.
Yeah, there you go. If you didn't like enough advertising, Dean Gemmel, the CEO of USA Curling, is here. You should bother him about it.
Where's he?
Dean's running around here somewhere.
Well,
He loves to be pestered by everybody. He's been hiding in the corner.
yeah, where was it advertised?
If I see him, I'll let you know. There you go. Nice little 3-guard just off center line. Segovia. This is still in the first 5 stone, so can't hit that. So she's going to ask for now a draw to the right wing.
These shots.
Hey, Jen. I am zoomed.
Yeah. I think that's a little higher than you want it, but I don't mind it at all. Yeah, exactly. There you go. Can't put further out.
Little bit heavy. Goes beyond tee. That's all the way to the back 12. Just hanging in. Full 12 over there in the back right corner. Bear with me, viewers, as I get our camera dialed in a little bit more. Come here, you little brat. There we go. The slow pan is really obnoxious. Oh my gosh, bear with me, everybody. I'm battling a little stand here. Come here, you brat.
Yeah, unfortunately, good line.
There we go. Maybe. Look at this slow, obnoxious pan. Bear with me as this camera really wants to look at sheet 6.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah.
That ought to work. And a really nice hit from Heather Cook. This thing is going to bother me quite a bit. Jen, I'm having technical difficulties with your stand. Calling for a hit and roll. They get the hit and the roll all the way out.
What are you doing wrong?
It wants to look at sheet 6. Make it stop.
Okay. So, what I do is I just have it.
You know what?
See?
Hold on.
I don't like
Okay.
but
Oops. Let's try this.
Heather Cook with her second shot, trying to draw around. This is not going to curl enough. It's going to hang out. It's that little, it's just rotating.
I see that.
For all of our viewers, just hold on to the arm of your couch.
Sorry for
as
the
we continue to manage this. Looks pretty good. That'll do.
That'll do?
Okay.
That'll do, pig.
Earthquake
That'll do.
is now done. We are back on solid ground. Speaking of solid, Wheeler over here for Team Ace has been lights out all week. Asking for another draw round.
yeah, I think they want to draw behind it, but
This one's going to do the same draw path as Heather Cook's last shot there. It's going to finish top 4, just biting top 4, but it did not curl enough. So Julie Segovia is going to ask for vice Alyssa Parks. You can see the tap of the belly, that's control weight, just off center nose hit. Going to ask for maybe a little bit of a roll. I like to call that a wiggle. Back over to the right about 2 feet, so Alyssa Parks with her first stone. Out of the hand, the sweepers like it. This does got a curl. It's got a curl. It's curling. It's going to get the hit, but it's going to spill. Oh, and it takes out the stone in the back right as well. So, sitting 1, back 12, unguarded. Vice for Team Asis. Wheeler coming up with her second shot. Being asked for another draw. Here comes the stone out of the hand. This looks significantly heavier than last time. They might be calling for a plan B, see if this will curl enough to go hit that shot stone on the back 12, but I think this is going to be more of a Saturday afternoon football. If you change the channel, that's kicking a field goal. Yeah, a couple of viewers behind the glass here already noticing some things here. As I was watching the warm-ups, the rocks really seem to curl from the left to the right off of that warm walking platform. And it seems like they're running pretty straight on the right-hand side. See if that continues. Segovia with a lot of broom here for Alyssa Parks. I think what she's looking for here is just top 12, top 8. Heather Cook holds up her hand, says it's far enough. Might be a little scotch heavy. Ooh, this has got to grind to a stop. This is going to carry. It's going T, back 8, back 12, and closer to back line weight. Always love to see when a skip gets to sweep, and that was 6 feet of fury to make sure that went all the way through the back. First of the skip stones. You'll notice Asis already starting to adjust her line calls, moving that broom about 2 full feet inside of where she's been placing that beforehand. This is going to be targeting a draw behind the guard, just to the left side of the button. Full 4 would be fine as long as it's dead buried. And this also has an opportunity, if she's heavy, to go for a hit on that back stone, and that's exactly what she's doing. This is going for the hit on that back shot stone. This is control weight. It's really got a curl here in the last few feet. She is going to be on the stone. She's going to hit it. Looks like it's going to spill out. Oh, no, and it jams on that back right stone that was precariously sitting behind the house and actually leaves it as a biter. So the force of 1 is on. Segovia with her first stone. They're talking about whether or not they want to draw or they want to hit and spill. A couple of different options for her. Looks like she's going to go ahead and call for the draw to T line. Sitting in front of those 2 stones back there. We'll give that shot stone a little bit of backing. Julie Segovia just out of the camera view. Steps into the hack, collects herself, cleans the stone. Looking for T-line draw.
Yes, but sometimes like if you don't play that outside the room,
Let's see how much this curls. Definitely a lot more coming left to right. Look at how much that's curling. That's going to be all the way to the edge of the 12 if that stops. It's got to drop brakes. It's got to drop an anchor. It's going down to T. It is just behind T line. That will be shot stone. But my gosh, that was a full, I don't know, 8.5 feet of curl coming off of that left wall. As many of our viewers know, I am perfect behind the glass here. Never missed a shot. So Asis taking a pretty comfortable shot here. She's going to go for control weight, wants to hit and roll. Even if she rolls out, she'll still be sitting one on that back 12. And this is curling a lot. There's really digging in, trying to hold the line, trying to hold it over there. It's still curling. It's still curling. She's on the outside of the stone. She promotes it. Oh, she gets enough of it, and it flashes right by the yellow on that back 12. So after skip stones, a little bit of luck, a happy accident, as Bob Ross would call it. Segovia's thinking about going for a hit and blanking the end.
I think we just throw a guard. We're shooting one right now.
Here comes the hammer, Julie Segovia. She's on broom out of the hand. It's starting to curl. Bostwick really holding the line here. Gets off of it. It's a dadgum beauty. It's a dadgum beauty. And both teams going to be okay with that. First end, blanked. And a cool, casual skipper walking back behind the house over here, dusting the shoulder off. A 60-second mandatory break between each end. For those that haven't had an opportunity to watch any of the games this weekend, this is the 2023 Arena Curling National Championship, hosted by Curl Masabi here in Eveleth, Minnesota. The no-tick rule is in effect all week. Seen a number of teams take advantage of that and seen a lot of different action around the center line.
That's what I would try. Looking at those, they're going to try to do just tap the yellow.
Sweepers really having to dig in to carry this across the hog line.
Red, so you're looking at hitting the yellow.
They do. That'll be a one guard just off center line.
I like what you said.
And Segovia, another aggressive call, asking for a draw into the house from her lead. Asking for top 12 on the right-hand side. This is going to be light. The sweepers are really, really working. And Segovia is going to come out here to help. They are dragging it, my gosh. Dragging it all the way to a deep 3, but that's going to over-curl a scotch and be just a little light. So Asis going to continue with the game plan. Has her one guard. She's going to ask for a draw around behind. Sweepers switch, trying to carve, get that to curl a little bit more. And that will touch paint, I think. That might be sitting just outside. Segovia stands right over it and stares. Looks like that's just shy of the house. So she's going to not mess with it. Ask for Julie Boschick. Give her about 6 more feet of weight. And draw this to full 12 on the right wing. Out of the hand, both sweepers are holding their hands out, saying that it's heavy enough. This might be back house. They're cleaning. The weight's going to be nice. It's not going to get buried behind that guard. And that'll be just behind T line. Just a little bit too much weight there. Asis asking for control weight. Wants to hit and roll as far left as possible. Sweepers are really getting on it. This is over curling by a mile. And she flashes. And an opportunity arises for Team Segovia. Here in the second in with Hammer. Coming up on second stones. This is Heather Cook. Fixes both pigtails. Cleans the stone. Asking for top 12. Both sweepers think it's all there. This looks like it's going to be top 8. Bostwick is really getting at it. And it's a beauty. Under curls a little bit. And I am so right. It's amazing. Top 8. Weight here. Opportunity for a double if she can nose it. This is curling a lot, and the sweeper's really getting on it, tried to hold the line, but again, an over curl. She'll get the back stone and spill. And it looks like she's going to ask her second, Heather Cook, to split the house rather than guard, since that is in top 8. So trying to come around underneath that 3-guard Yellowstone on the left-hand side. You'll notice she's holding the broom all the way at the edge of 12, so they're expecting 9 feet of curl on T-weight. Sweepers think it's a little bit light, so Alyssa Parks is really digging in. Both of them now sweeping. This is carrying. There's a light handle on this, so it might snap at the very end. No, it's not going to snap enough. This will be really nice weight, top 8, but it's not going to curl enough, top 4 even. But it sits precariously out in the open, and it sets up a double. Ace is going to go across the face here with a intern draw, or excuse me, intern hit. Tracking on a nice line if this curls. If it continues to curl, it's tracking on a really nice line. Looks like this is going to be closer to nose. That's a nice shot from the ice wheeler over there. Not able to secure the double. So Segovia asked for a nose hit. There's even a little bit of real estate between those two stones, and they are stacked side by side. So Alyssa Parks can just across the nose here and see if she can get as much of a roll to the left as possible, creating that split house result that Segovia has been looking for. Would love for this to come right across the nose, but out of the hand it looks real heavy. Asking the stone to curl. It's got to curl. It's got to curl a lot. And she hits her own stone and promotes. And a big miss from Alyssa Parks there.
She's serving with her hand.
Always got way too it, but it's just
First they're too hard, now they're too soft.
Neither team appears to be shying away from upweight shots here, so Ace is going to call for another control hit weight. Hit and roll would be the end result they're looking for. Be on the inside of that red stone. It is curling and tracking in a nice way. Over curls a little bit, but nope, it's a great result for Asis. As they get the hit, they get the roll. Both of those stones are hanging out. Alyssa Parks can see both of them, maybe half of the stone on the left-hand side of the 8. All of the shot stone here, so Segovia is going to ask for a just off-center, control weight hit, and get just a wiggle to the left to hopefully get left side of the button, or full 4 would still be fine. Heather Cook's on it, trying to hold the line. They're trying to hold the line. They're holding the line. They held it. They held it too much. And a little inside joke as Alyssa Parks turns to Heather and says, medium. Heather Cook, obviously one of the strongest sweepers in the entire dadgum country. And when somebody yells hard, especially Segovia, she will mow some ice and move a rock, and she held that line a little too much. Segovia making the mistake of telling Heather hard when she probably should have just yelled medium. Not a bad result as they got their hit. It ended up being a nose, so it's sitting out there with no guard, giving Asis an opportunity for another hit. My guess is she'd probably like to be a little off of center nose and roll off to the right-hand side, splitting the house as well. A little bit of a fishtail from Asis as she releases the stone. This is going to be on the left-hand side of nose, if anything. Yeah, she just noses. And it tees up an opportunity here for Segovia to either go for the double, which they're discussing, and she kind of shakes it off like a pitcher would for a bad call. They're thinking about it. Reminder to our viewers as well that this is a national tournament, part of USA Curling, so this is a timed event. Apologies because the time clocks are underneath our camera. We don't have visibility to what the clocks are, but you'll notice a pretty quick pace of play. Both teams have 1 timeout per game. That is a 60-second timeout. Team Segovia has their one and only coach, Greg Major, travel up with them, so they'll get an extra 15 seconds of travel time for the coach. If it's on the near end, if it's on the far ends, an extra 45 seconds of travel time. And an unlimited amount of technical timeouts for measures, full discussions. Out of the hand, this is pretty narrow, and Heather's going hard to hold the line. She's got a really sweep. I think she's on the guard. Julia's on the guard. It over curled. I think it was just narrow out of the hand. And it spills the guard, spills the shooter, opens the house wide up, but coming into the 8 stones for Asis and Segovia, Asis is sitting 2 in the house. Has an option here to either guard, tap forward, promote, and fill the house with 3 for a strong force. That looks like what she's calling.
At 12, it'll stay right there. Which and so you can hit at around 11, it'll drift behind the cards there.
Bringing the broom in a little bit.
Right.
So the call here is a tap
They'll still take theirs out with this weight.
tap back weight, wants to promote that top 8 stone just off the center line back to the button.
This is heavy. Yeah, they're deep chins.
Yeah, the one thing she can't do is tap this too far and go to the back of the button, giving Segovia an opportunity to draw down to it. So the miss is light here. This is tracking on pretty good line, and the weight looks pretty nice as well. It's starting to over curl a little bit, so the sweeper's on the inside, really getting on it, trying to hold the line. It's going to over curl just a little bit, but the result's going to be exactly what she's looking for, and they lock down the button on the right-hand side. And a big challenge for Segovia now in the second end with hammer. After blanking the first end, draw against 3.
Yeah, I like that idea. I would hit this and try to hide behind it.
Yeah, she can't go for the hit here. So a good result for Asis here in the second end, as they're putting a lot of pressure, calling for bumper weight. So hit and roll. Hit and roll. So a quiet hit weight here as they're asking for a bumper. Want to get across the nose of this stone on the left-hand side of the forefoot, sitting just in the full 8. Want to get across the nose of that and roll to the right. Tricky shot here for Julie Segovia with hammer in the second. Heather Cook's really got to go to hold it past this guard. It's past the guard. Now it's got to curl. It's got to curl a lot. It's got to curl a lot. It's curling. It's curling. She's going to get the shots. Oh, and I think that's going to be 2 yellow. Just doesn't curl enough. She gets the takeout of 1, sticks around, but it's for naught, as Asis gets a steal of 2 in the second.
Well, so here's the part is you go back to their backstop. So they may hit that one and hit it from there. The red, my weapons. This right here. Yeah, that made that time.
Come here, you old brat. All right, so those of y'all that are just joining in, this is Team Segovia versus Team Asis after 2 ends. First one, Segovia with hammer has a really nice hit on with their last shot to clear the house and an intentional blank. Second end, Asis from Silicon Valley able to apply quite a bit of pressure as they put 3 in the house. Segovia was staring at all 3 of them, and the button fully guarded, so she goes for the hit and roll, ends up just nosing, cuts it down to 2, but it's a steal of 2 for Asis in the second. And here we are in the third. Jess Bostwick with her first stone. The sweepers think it's heavy, and it looks heavy as well. That's going to be in the house. That might be through the house. And 6 feet of fury on a skip sweep as Asis making sure that it gets all the way down. It does carry and stick around. That's going to be back 12, full 12. So that'll be shot stone. That is sitting inside that yellow wing. Looks like Asis is just going to start splitting the house here. So she's got one in the pane on the left. Going to ask her lead to do the same on the right. We've also started to notice that there's a little bit of difference on each side of this sheet of ice as the left-hand side in your viewfinder really snaps and curls quite a bit off of that wall. And the draw curl from right to left is staying significantly straighter. You'll notice even on this shot right here how far that's curling. So that's going to over curl and sit T-line. Weight was nice, but that ends up all the way outside of the 12. So Bostwick now going to try and do the same. Julie Segovia makes the adjustment and moves the broom over about 1.5 feet on that one. Out of the hand, this was a little bit narrow, but both sweepers are really digging in. Really digging in. You can see that heavy sweep from all three. They are dragging this stone. They're dragging it. They're dragging it. I don't think they're going to get it to touch paint. My gosh, what a heavy sweep. But they bring it all the way down to a deep 3 corner guard with a heavy sweep from the ladies out of Houston. Asis sees an opportunity, so she's going to ask for a draw around that guard. Tracking on a good line. It looks a little bit heavy. This is going to have to die down. Segovia gets her broom head ready. And a polite, not even polite, a furious skip sweep. A furious skip sweep to make sure that goes out the back of the house. Heather Cook with her first stone. Touch shot, looking for a draw around the guard. Wants to sit T-line, preferably top 4, top 8. This is tracking. It's got to curl a mile, though. I think she might have been outside the broom a scotch, as this is going to finish more on the edge of 4. T-line. And sits just behind the T-line there, so maybe 6 inches heavier than what she was looking for. It's not guarded. It did not curl nearly as much as what they were hoping for, and so an open hit opportunity. This is heavy. Heavy, heavy, heavy. It's Hack Plus. This is control. But it's still curling a ton. My gosh, it curls a lot on this. She's going to get the 1, an opportunity to go for 2. Flashes by that second red stone on the back 12, so it sits there. That is still sitting shot on the back left. So she's going to ask Heather Cook to do the same thing. She's leaving the broom in the same spot, so I do think that Heather might have been a scotch outside on that last shot. Alyssa Parks likes the weight.
That's how you get it. Make sure the pieces too.
I think it's heavy. I think it's real heavy. This is going to be back house at best. We're going to see a skip sweep. It's going to go back 4, back 8, back 12, and through. Wow. And a surprising miss from Heather Cook, because she's normally money on that kind of a shot right there. You can see her.
Dallas, Texas champions.
So both skips trying to race to the tee line behind that guard. This is tracking on a better line than the others that we've seen. The sweepers are really trying to hold to make sure it gets past that guard, but it's going to be too tight. It's going to nick the guard. Does it promote it in? It does not. So they wreck on the guard. That is out of the house. Segovia looking around, thinking, saying, hey, let's keep on trying. Look at that. That is a full 8 feet of swing that she's expecting from this line. So Alyssa Parks with T-weight draw. It looks heavy. Oh, it's starting to die down. Yeah, it's heavy. It'll be back house. Man, it just doesn't curl enough. It's back 8, but it is not guarded.
I didn't think you were going to. You were so good. Well, you were better that day. You were better. You can depend on me.
They do have backing on this shot, so we may see a little bit of a heavy draw here, maybe backline weight. That's tracking to what we're looking at here. This is going to be backline. Asking for a hard sweep to hold the line at as it is over curling. It's over curling and they give up on it. As that's going to be through the house, over curled. And again, an opportunity for Segovia and Team Houston as they have sitting 1 and 2. Unguarded though, so she's going to ask for another draw. Alyssa Parks to take about 10 feet off her last shot here. Wants to just park it, no pun. Actually, the pun was entirely intended. For those that know, that is Alyssa Parks. Looking for her to park it on the top 4, but this is heavy. This is heavy. That's going to be back house. It's going to be down on the stone. Wouldn't be bad if it splits as long as that sticks around. Okay, so they've got 1, 2, 3, all of them behind tee line. There is an opportunity for a double from Asis. Skip stones here in the third. Segovia with hammer, so Asis is going to go first. Staring down the barrel of 3 stones in the house, all of them unguarded, so a couple of different options here. Looks like she's going to go for hack weight. Wants to get just off nose of that shot stone on the back 4. Go for a potential double and stick around, but this is real heavy. Real heavy. Holy cow. That was control at least. And so she misses the hit, flashes, kicks a field goal, and gives Segovia an opportunity now to put more stones in the house. She needs to get something in front of T-line and guard some stuff up here. Start cutting down the draw path to the button. And that's exactly what they're going to do with the broom all the way outside the edge of the 12. So looking for top 4, top 8. That's exactly where she's tapping. Center line. Top 8 would be really nice. Let's see what the short time is here. It's been tracking at about a 375, 380 for T-line. And I got a 380. So that's going to be T-weight. But that's coming hot. Sweeper's got to get off it. Sweeper's got to get off it. That's top 12, top 8, top 4, and T-line. Top 4. Top 4, so ice seems to have about the same speed as what it's had for the rest of the weekend. We've been seeing about a 380, 375 T-line weight on the short time, so carried a little further than what they were hoping for. It does shut down the draw path on the right-hand side for Asis to be able to be a spoiler. So it does give them the opportunity, though, to draw into the left-hand side of the button. There even is a little bit of a pocket there between shot stone and second. So that's the perfect spot she's going to try and draw around behind. Sweepers are really getting on it. They're really getting on it. Look at this sweeping. Heavy, heavy sweeping. This is tracking in a really nice line. She's around on it. Oh, good shot. She manages to get the button, but she's not fully buried, and there is an opportunity for Segovia to nose her front 4 stone, chip that out, and stick around for 4.
Yeah, they probably put it high in the house.
Looks like there's about 2 feet of space between each one of those stones, that front red stone, the shot stone yellow, and the back stone on the back 4. So there is enough room to be able to hit that yellow out without removing that back 4 stone. Alyssa Park's talking about it right now. If they nose with enough weight, they could chip that yellow out. I think you'd probably lose that red stone that you're raising, and we're going to get a timeout. A timeout. Start your timers, as we're going to get a celebrity moment from Greg Major, probably going to be walking out here in a second. And there he goes, ladies and gentlemen, curling royalty, Greg Major stepping out on the ice. Going to talk through this as a big opportunity here for potential 3, 4, or even 5 if they can execute upon it. Down 2 here in the third. And the opportunity for Team Segovia. They've got to remove that yellow stone that Asis did a beautiful draw on just now. There is an opportunity. The angles are there, but they've got to figure out which one they want. They can't do a straight run back because that'll wreck. But even if it wrecks, no, you get 2, maybe between 2 and 4, depending on where the shooter goes. I think you just nose it with hack weight. It spills both of them, and you stick around with the shooter for 4. They're trying to figure out if there's a way to get 5 on this. Again, 45 seconds of travel time for Greg Major and 60 seconds of thinking time. Front of the house dutifully coming down here to clean the stone of their skip. And they are going to go for it. This is a tight line, so this is going to be big weight here. At least control, maybe normal. Just need to fire this yellow out at even more than a 45-degree angle. If it goes out at a 45-degree angle, it's going to wreck on that back left stone, cutting down the scoring area. So they're looking to spill this really sharp angle here. Oh, a bobble. And she rifles it out of the hand. Heather Cook's got to push it. They got to hold the line. They really got to hold the line. They really got to hold the line. It's over curling. It over curls. Oh. No. And Julie Segovia, narrow on her hit, over curls, does not get the angle takeout. And Asis able to steal another, going up 3-0 after 3.
Yes, if I keep it quick, then I don't want to lose.
All right. This announcer needs another cocktail.
You deserve it.
Thank you. I haven't even noticed you being so rude and annoying me on the Zoom. It's great job.
3-0.
Where's that Frank now?
And it's not like the first time.
What did they do?
They select
Good luck. Have they seen any?
They've got two left.
Yeah?
It's this, whatever his name is. I don't know what,
That's my dad used to.
We used to hunt up in that elbow. That's zone 119. DNR has by their license, you put down what zone you're going to be hunting in. You're not restricted to that zone, but you just reference it. Licenses were sold in zone 119. Same as last year, 5,000.
That was extraordinary.
No, that's down. Back in the heyday, it was way more than that. But it was at 5,000. Okay, and last year 200 deer were shot. That's a 4% success rate. This year, 48. It was less than 1% of hunters got a deer.
They're right in it. Asis had a really good job. This is a good game.
Monica doesn't get the time because I won't hunt. I shot my deer on the 28th of October. It's all butchered up in the one per licensee in the state. Unless you go to there, that's got bonus tags. You have better than like that.
What happened with Bostwick's first stone? What happened with Red's first stone? Was she in the house?
Yeah.
She was in the house when they did it.
She was
She hit the other red one out.
Top right of the button, so they hit and...
and they rolled out to the yellow there. The
Okay.
yellow outside of the tee line. It's
So-
right about where that one was.
Segovia must have seen something in the scouting report where she doesn't think this lead is comfortable hitting. I mean, that's a smooth, stable delivery. That's not going to curl enough. This may wreck on your own guard. Nope, she's going to paper. Okay. Okay, Segovia. Okay, Segovia. Opportunity here. She's going to ask for second Heather Cook to split the house. Went top 8 weight on the left-hand side.
And what's your score on 5?
It's 3-0. 3-0. They got a steal of 1 in the third. This looks a little light. Both sweepers are really digging in, and they got to go. They got to go. They got to go, and they're digging. They're digging. They dug enough. They're done digging. What a beauty from Heather Cook, as that is straight stacked just in front of the tee line. Very nice result here. So Asis in a little bit of trouble early on here in the end. This is the fourth end. They're up 3-0. Gonna ask for her second to do a hit and roll. She's going after the one on the right-hand side. Geez, that snap hooked right out of her hand, didn't it? They're trying hard to hold this, but this is gonna over curl. She's gonna get the stone, but it's gonna spill out. And if I can tap into my Kenny Damas, I would expect them to do exactly that. Splitting the house, putting that stone right back. So Heather Cook asking to do the exact same thing with the other handle.
Because it's a cash fee.
Let's see what she got.
Yeah, yeah.
Just giving it to the sweepers. Both sweepers really digging in early. Ooh, they got to go the whole way, this one. They got to go the whole way. Segovia's running out to help. This has got to touch paint. This has got to touch paint, and they're dragging it. They're dragging it. Drag it. Drag it. Drag it. Drag, 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 drag. Sweep. It's a biter. It's a biter. So Ace is going to go for the other shot stone here. This looks nice. She's going to be on the shot stone. Now we're just looking for where it's going to roll. It's going to roll to the right. Does it stick behind the guard? Segovia's sweeping. 6 feet of fury, Segovia. And it rolls underneath the guard on the back 8. That's a really stinking nice shot, dadgummit. But it's behind T-line, so an opportunity. The line is there, so Segovia is going to ask for a touch shot, asking Alyssa Parks, her vice, to draw down to that, even sit in front of it on top 4 T-line. As long as it's dead buried with backing, it'll be a nice result. The sweepers out of the hand are really getting on it. They need it to curl a mile. It's starting to snap. The weight looks nice. The weight looks nice. It's got to keep curling. Heather Cook really going hard. Going really hard. Steps over the stone. Carries it all the way down, and it just... Can we call that a corner freeze?
It is.
We'll call that a corner freeze. Both Wheeler and Asis have been shooting very well in these first 3 ends. So Ace is asking for her vice to, looks like with this line, this is going to be control, maybe bumper weight. Looking for about 4 feet of curl. 4 feet and 2 inches would be perfect, as it would get just across the nose. It's curling. It's tracking on the right line. It's got to curl a little bit more. This may do a takeout of their own. It does take it out, so it sticks around in the open. Segovia is going to, instead of going for the double run back, which is a pretty tricky shot, she's going to stick with the simple one. As for bumper weight, hit and roll underneath the guard. It's got to curl. Got to finish real hard here. She gets enough of it to get the takeout, but she spills the shooter. So just a little heavy or a little outside for Alyssa Parks. Those of y'all just joining in, we're in the third end now. Both undefeated teams in this bracket, Segovia and Asis out of Silicon Valley. Asis up 3-0 after 3. Segovia has had Hammer the entire game. They started with Hammer after a closer LSD. They blanked the first end, gave up a steal of 2 in the second, and just gave up a steal of 1 in the third. So down 3-0. First of the skip stones here for Asis as they're sitting 1. That is shot stone at the top 12, so she's going to try and draw around behind that.
Not bad.
Sweepers think it's all there. This commentator thinks it's a little heavy. Alyssa Park steps up, gonna make sure.
The commentator is right.
And I'm still batting 1,000 behind the glass. For those of y'all that haven't noticed or haven't been watching, they have baseball scoreboards here in Curl Masabi. It is super stinking weird. We haven't quite figured it out yet. So in order to remind myself, I have intentionally dropped in a few baseball references. What's the call here? They're going to go for the hit. If they nose it, it's not going to be biting. So they need to hit and roll somewhere. With as tight of a line, this is going to be big weight. Dang. You really got to keep that shooter around to apply pressure to Asis. Delivery looks good. It's gonna over curl, except for Jess Bostwick is head down and really digging. This is looking like it's gonna nose be just, oh! Look at that, sacrificing the body. Jess Bostwick, Big Bo Bostwick. A heck of a sweep there to hold the line. It gets just across the nose and rolls over. Both of those stones are sitting side by side. There is a crotch that Asis could try and go for the double, but that is a big, risky shot there if she misses to open up at least a 2 here. So I think she's probably going to settle for a draw round. They're discussing here. There is an opportunity to hit it, that inside stone on the left-hand side of center. If it does, it very likely spills the right-hand stone out of the house. And if it's got enough weight, it would send the shot stone down through the house, but that would have to be really big weight in order to do so. And likely keeps the shooter around. It's a smart decision from Asis. Let's see if she can execute. She's going to want to be just off the center on the left-hand side.
Yeah, so now they're going to try to guard up on that.
You'll remember in the last end she tried a shot like this, just a down hit weight, and ended up throwing almost peeled and flashed. So a little bit of a bobble. She collects herself. This is tracking. She will be hitting something. Oh, it's tracking really nicely. It's tracking really nicely. She does get the double takeout, and she's gonna stick around. My gosh. And the force of one is on. Well, that's not biting. I apologize. Not a force. Segovia with a choice of drawing for one full 8 and taking a point, or going for another blank. She is Canadian. She's played this game before, so she's going to go for the blank. I think they're going to peel and go for the blank. Oh my gosh, she's narrow. She's narrow. Is she gonna flash? Oh no. Calm down. Calm down. Let's breathe. Take a breath. A little tilt of the head as Segovia walks back to the house here. I'll zoom into the scoreboard for you. After 4, Segovia is down 4-0. Halfway through the game, mandatory 5-minute break for a refill of your favorite beverage. Little chat with the coach, collect your thoughts. We'll be back in 5 after these messages from our sponsors. Not look like Super Bowl. Yep, applesauce and protein. They're doing okay. I mean, they've
Asis has made some great shots.
Asis has made really good shots. Their vice wheeler can hit. That girl can hit.
Yeah.
And Asis did that gnarly draw in the third.
I know, that was
That
rough.
was gnarly.
That was a good shot.
That was gnarly.
Yeah. Saw you refer to Gregory Major as royalty there.
Curling royalty.
Curling royalty.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Can we watch you? Like, giving? Is there any way I can watch you
Comment?
filming tomorrow?
Yeah.
What's
Yeah, so we do it on, we share everything on Facebook for the Curling Club of Houston.
Curling Club of Houston. So we live stream the Houston games.
Because we're
That's
biased.
where we're from. We're from Houston.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what do I go on then? I have to get onto the Houston?
Yeah, you go onto Facebook and you search for the Curling Club of Houston.
Or YouTube.
Or YouTube, yep. Curling Club of Houston. If you Google it, you'll find us. And we're broadcasting all of the Houston teams. There are really all Texas teams. So
Yeah.
we have we've got 2 teams from Houston and 2 teams from Dallas.
Normally we're together when there's one game. We have both our Houston teams on the ice right now. So otherwise, we're the Jen and Ken, the dynamic duo, Fire on Ice show.
Sure.
We have many fans. We have many fans. People tune in just to listen to us that know nothing about curling.
I'm like select. I'm just.
Yeah, he's
feel like I
far
need
more
to pay you.
entertaining
I
than me
appreciate
in a
that.
lot of ways.
I've been telling Dean that I'm going for Tyler George's job.
There you go.
Do you have a Houston pin?
I bet you do.
What kind of pin?
Curling pin.
Anything with Houston on it, so I know
Yeah,
what
I've
to
got a pin. I'll give it to you. Give me one
Give
second.
out curling pins, of course.
I've got it's like a
I
stick
can't
pin,
find a
not
piece
a
of
writing
paper.
pin, but a stick pin.
I can't find a piece of paper to write
This
Houston
is
down.
this
Okay.
is a great entertainment. That's for sure.
Yes.
I like that idea.
And you curl and hipping. The end of the season. Okay, I did that once over there.
I'm not curling this year. My daughter says I'm still gonna sell it. I'm getting up in age. I think that last year I curled in two golf leagues and 2 curling leagues. And by the end I was tired. I'm just thinking this year.
Your body tells you. But listen,
I still would like to. But
yeah.
I just don't stop feeling that I should.
Here's what I've got.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, and that's for sure. You know, when you want a piece of paper, you can't find one.
Right, never. Never.
But I've got a nice place to put this.
I give, as I'm doing it, I give the updates for all the things, so I have where everyone's from written on a napkin.
Yes.
Because I couldn't find a paper either.
And I've got my grandson plays for the Blues.
Okay.
So I'm always going in to try to find where they're playing.
Well, this is, I mean, I'm just moving back to the area. I was over in the Brainerd area for a while.
Yeah.
So I'm just tickled that we have this here.
Yes.
I mean, I'll come in and watch.
Oh, yeah?
The weekend just because I love watching.
And
I play too. But
Oh, really?
But thank goodness, because now that I'm not, I might sub a little bit this year. Otherwise, I'm not doing it anymore.
Yeah.
I love watching.
Yeah.
And I still have
if
a
you
daughter.
play, you know.
And I still have a,
Right. Yeah.
and I still have a daughter who's calling, and she's going to the national pretty soon with the team from the NBA. Just started.
That's a great
All right, Kenny.
I'm not kicking you out. You can hang out.
I'm gonna run to the restroom. My men are all back on the ice. I'm gonna run real quick.
What did they end up doing? Did he just put out a 5-banger?
Put up a 5-banger.
Let's go!
Look what I
Let's
got.
go.
So I can find you.
Very cool. Isn't that a sweet pin?
Yes.
Yeah, that's super cool.
And I said, my grandson plays for the Blues, and they're playing Houston a lot too. So I have to go in to get
The
him.
Blues in like the St. Louis Blues? The NHL hockey team?
Yeah.
Really? Who's your grandson?
Scott Krukovich.
Oh,
Your grandson is Scott Peruvian?
Krunovich name is
What? That's a big deal.
I know. I was there when he. I was
Holy
there when,
crap.
When
More
he
than
got,
just the
when he got,
Holy
because
cow.
when he got that, I was there to watch.
When they got the Stanley
when
Cup?
he was playing. No,
Because the Blues got the Stanley Cup, what was it, 4 years ago?
I know, but he wasn't.
He wasn't on the team then, yeah.
No, but I was there when he, for college, he
Uh-huh.
got the Hobie Baker. That's what.
Oh my God. What is happening? Every time I come north of the Mason-Dixie, I meet curling royalty or NHL royalty. Good Lord. Everybody's related to each other. They're all national champions. That's wild. That's very cool. That's very cool. I bet you're a proud grandma.
I am, and I've got another grandson now that is outside of Milwaukee playing baseball, and he got picked up by like a college out there now that he's trying to play for.
That's awesome. Oh, Dallas Stars are up a goal against the Jets. Let's go. Let's go.
I have to say, you've got a lot of enthusiasm.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. It's hard to keep it up for 72 hours straight.
You must have your mental list of adjectives and, you know.
Sometimes when you see
I'm
the
a
Blues,
A
wordsmith.
wordsmith,
A
yes.
wordsmith, yes, ma'am.
sometimes when you see the Blues stick up for Krunovich, and a lot of enthusiasm.
Yeah, he's not a big guy.
No. And he never was.
How old is he?
How old is he?
He's a baby still.
25?
25, yeah.
I think I've got 9 grandchildren. And
How many of them play in the NHL? No, I'm just kidding.
I'm not trying to find out what they do, but I'm trying to figure out all their ages. And I had 6 children. I'm lucky I can remember their birthdays.
Got a nice guard out front that they can't do anything with, so.
All right, back to the action on sheet 5 here. We've got ourselves a real barn burner. It's an uphill battle for Julie Segovia and the defending
that
gold. I know, and the let me see this, and the gold medal defending champions, as they're down 4-0 after 4. A couple of missed opportunities. They had a hit for 5, at least 4, in the third end. Asis did a beautiful skip straw down into a very tiny pocket. Segovia unable to remove that, so they got a steal of 1 in the third. So Asis now up 4-0. They're starting to fill the house with rocks. So a little bit of game strategery, as my dear friend George W. Bush would say back in the glory days. So asking for another draw, just trying to fill the house with stones. Segovia then is going to, in turn, try and fill the house in front of those yellow stones. As long as these yellows continue to be in front of T-line, these red stones are going to be top 12, top 8. That one is going to go through. So there is an opportunity for a nose raise, and that's exactly what Segovia is going to ask for. So, nope, I take that back. Segovia changes her mind. Instead of doing a nose run back double, she's going to. This is a big shot. Big shot from Heather Cook. Both sweepers are saying that it's through. So we're going to have to go for a plan B here. It's going to be on the shot stone. It's going to hit it, but it's going to be a hit on the outside and roll. Oh, dadgummit. And she promotes that yellow on the full 4 down to the button. Sitting precariously out in the wide open, begging to be hit, and Ace is happy to oblige. Dallas Stars goal. She's gonna get her hit. This may even roll underneath. My gosh. That is trouble. That is trouble. Segovia, interesting. A seasoned veteran, curling almost her whole life, hailing out of Canada. She's not panicking. Instead of calling for hits, she's asking Heather Cook for another draw, fill in the pile. There is a gap between the top 8 and the button. That's got to sneak by the guard. Alyssa Parks, the vice on the inside sweep, really digging in hard to hold the line. The line looks like it's going to hold. She's going to be past the guard. Now Boss over trying to carve it. It's got to carve. It's not going to carve enough. It's going to be a little too heavy, so it's sailing away as it goes. Back 4, back 8. Back 8. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. Uh-oh, 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 uh-oh. Oh, no. Not good. Not good, not good, not good. If Asis can get the shot that she's calling from Wheeler out of her from her vice, asking for a top 8, top 4, just off the right-hand side of the center line, this would close down the a really precarious way, but both sweepers think it's heavy. This is going to be behind T-line. Both sweepers trying to get it down. No, it's not behind T-line. It's freaking perfect. Yikes. Yikes, yikes, yikes. And pulling the ripcord on this end as Segovia is going to ask for her vice, Alyssa Parks, to start blowing stuff up. Asis sitting 1, 2, 3, and 4th shot. Switching the call, going to go from the left to the right. Wants to just nose that center red, drive it back, and see what kind of stone action we can get. It's tracking on a really good line. Heather Cook gets off it. They need it to curl about another 3 inches. It's going to curl 3 inches. It's going to be right on the nose. Where does this go? It gets 1. It jams on the back. It jams on the back. So Alyssa Parks with a really nice nose hit, exactly what they were trying to do. Got a little wiggle through there as it went into a pile of yellows, and it spills one, moves the other one all the way out to the edge of 12. But I think they're sitting 1, 2, and maybe 3. Yeah, yellow still sitting 3. A lot of different options here for Asis. She's going to say she likes 3, so she's going to ask for a guard. Saw her tap the ice. It's going to be a 3-guard request for her vice Wheeler, who has been shooting absolutely lights out so far. Same line as what she just threw.
If they could hit that almost on their nose, they can take out the 2 and just sit right there, and then they can shoot 2. Just put the house together.
This is going to carry into the house. It hits their stone, but no, sits right there, full 8. Closes down that draw path on the right-hand side, so Segovia asking a lot from her vice. Alyssa Parks, she wants to come draw, heavy draw, probably back 8 weight, wants to come across the nose of that yellow, sitting on the edge of 4 foot on the left-hand side. Needs to get across the nose, though, to make sure. Pop that back, and then roll underneath all those guards. If she's able to pull this off, it'll be a really big shot. Heather Cook needs to get off it. It's got to curl. They call it off. It's curling. It's going to be really nice. She's going to get across the nose, and let's see what it rolls. What a shot. What a shot from Vice Alyssa Parks. Let's go. That will be probably second shot. Probably second shot there. I think shot stone's going to be that yellow she just hit, just holding on to all of the 4 foot on that back left, precariously wide open without guard. Asis is going to try and fix that problem by putting a guard in front. There also is a draw path where they could just go right into the button. So, a lot of options here for Asis. As she can be light, she can be heavy, or she can be perfect. T-line draw would put it right on the button. Heavy could promote or knock back their own stone, but roll underneath all the guards. And light just guards up shot. And here comes Asis. This is going to be a guard. This might overcurl a little bit and just kiss off that redstone. It does, and rolls 2 inches over, shutting down the draw path. But shot stone is sitting open there. You can see here in your viewfinder, if you're standing in the hack, which Julie Segovia will be doing in just a moment, about 3/4 of that stone. So a nice heavy draw. Alyssa Parks looks at the angles here. There is an opportunity for a double if they did up weight, but it looks like it's going to be a heavy draw. Want to just go straight to the button if she's 6 inches heavy. Yeah. Segovia's got to hit her draw here. This looks heavy and wide. If you're going to be wide, be heavy, right? I don't think that's how it goes. It's way out there. No, she's just super, super heavy. Asking for T-line, and that's closer to hack.
Yeah. Well, they grow out of Rochester.
Settle down, Julie. Settle down, Julie. Come on.
No, they don't have designated crew.
Right now, yellow is sitting 1, and then red is sitting second.
Hey there. Hello. You're taking 2 of you.
Asis out of Silicon Valley, up 4-0 after 4. Coming out of the break, they are sitting shot stone, unguarded on the back left of T line, full 4. So let's say splitting the 4. I think Houston is second, center line front 4. So Ace is going to try and draw right in. It's hanging out there. It's not snapping like she'd like. So this is going to be wide. Oh, and a gift to Team Houston as she hits shot stone, knocks it back just far enough. Those are 3 all behind T, just biting edge of 4. I believe that Houston is sitting 1, but that yellow stone that Aces just threw is hanging out there unguarded, and an opportunity for Segovia to go hit and roll under all the guards, that big old pile. You can see Alyssa Parks, the vice, holding the broom down there, middle of 12. She taps her hip, which is asking for bumper weight. So a nice, controlled, smooth and easy. Smooth and easy. Julie Segovia has to get across the nose of this, though. It has to roll under all the guards. Ooh, and it's real heavy. It's real heavy. Heather Cook's got to get off it. Call him off. Call her off. Call her off. They call her off. Should have called her off a second earlier. It's not going to curl enough. You're going to get a double nose. Oh, it doesn't even get the double. Should have called Heather off. They're all staring. There are 4 stones that are all just grabbing the 4-foot. This may be a time for Michael Levesque, and you can see him just hovering on the back of the sheet there in the middle of your viewfinder. The smirk underneath that mustache is visible all the way from down here as he is ready for a measure, and that's what's going to happen. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a Michael Levesque official measure. I think you got to measure all 4. I think it's 3 red.
Hell no.
I still think it's 3 red. I'm with you.
So they pull 1 red stone. I think they're saying that red stone was shot. I think they're saying that red stone was shot, which means that they're measuring for the second. It is that 1 red stone on the left-hand side, these 2 yellows, all 3 of them just biting the 4. And a sassy twirl from Michael Levesque as he does an unnecessary circle. No, I start with the closest. The closest. Hold, please. Hold, please. I think so.
There's 2. 3 yellow.
Waiting for confirmation on the scoreboard here. They did measure everything. It looks like a 1 for red on Segovia. Just didn't quite curl enough. to get across the nose of that yellow. Feel like they should have called Heather Cook off about 2 seconds earlier to let that bite a little bit more, but an opportunity squandered from Team Segovia. They do break the goose egg. Starting to look at some more straight lines here as we have a score of 1-4 going into the 6th. Defending gold medal champions Team Segovia. And a little bit of a challenge here as they're down by 3 without Hammer. A really nice guard from Bostwick here as this looks like it may sit on the center line. It might overcurl a scotch. It may sit on the center line. And that is a center line 3 guard for Bostwick, and the crowd goes wild for guards. Nothing makes the crowd go wilder than 3 guards. Nice job, Jess. Nice job. Apologies to our viewers as I did not have that in the viewfinder. Gonna ask, Segovia's gonna ask her lead, Jess Bostwick, for the old lead 1-2 combo, 3 guard and a draw around behind. Sweepers like the weight, they're letting it marinate, and the draw path looks really nice. It's past the guard. Now it needs to drop anchor and stop. This is gonna go beyond the T line. It's gonna go back 4, back 8, and back 12. Over curls by about 8 inches. You can see hanging out the left-hand side. Asis says, can you see it? Do we go for it? She's not going to take the bait, and she's going to split the house and go to the other wing, asking for a T-line weight, full 12. Who here's Silicon Valley? No, they have no friends. Nobody likes California.
You do realize I've been standing behind you the entire
I'm just messing with you. How long has Asis been curling?
10 years, I think. I'm not sure.
She's good. Not only
Why
like,
she's our skip?
yeah, not only just like throwing, but she knows what to do. She's smart. She's got really, really good strategy. No, being a raging extrovert, I never noticed introverts. All right, Segovia now asking for her second Heather Cook to draw around behind. This is hanging real wide. Goodness gracious. Now it's starting to snap. Bostwick taking the close sweep here, trying to get as much curl as possible. The weight looks nice, but it's not going to curl enough unless they can carry it all the way to back 4. It's not going to be back 4. It's going to be top 12, and once again, precarious indeed as it sits there, shot stone, but with no cover. And Asis, ooh, a really smart call from Asis, as rather than going for the shot stone, she's going to go for the double. Open up the 4-foot on either side. This has got to curl. It's gonna curl. It's gonna curl. Is it gonna jam? It does not jam. It sticks, but it does stick around. So Segovia trying to fill up the front of the house in front of that 4-foot. Gonna ask for Heather Cook to do a nice draw. Full 8, just off center line. Sweepers are really digging in to get this all. This looks light. This is tracking for a 3 guard, and we got all 3 sweepers coming out. We got all 3 sweepers really digging in. They got to get it to touch paint. They got to get it to touch paint, and it's not. It's going to be light from Heather Cook as she throws a deep 3. Does not get it to 8 foot. Sweepers were a little late at getting on that. Bostwick asking for another takeout here.
See that?
Ooh. She gets a little bit too much of the stone. She ends up sending it back at a 45-degree angle and takes out their yellow on the wing. They're now sitting 1 on the left-hand side, split across the 12 foot. And outside, so Segovia sitting 1, 2, and 3, just starting to put 4 corners. This is all the way down to T at least. This may be back house. This may be back house. The ask was top 8. This is going to go all the way down to shot stone on the back 12. I don't know what I'm talking about. It's a dadgum button. Time for me to get another cocktail. Love that woman. She's amazing.
Where's the sports she was down in I said, where is she, man? You put her on speed dial. Yeah, put her on speed dial. I might do it. Yeah, they're I'm in the middle of a game here. Okay, what help me this? Help me out. They let us have photos on the ice. I only got 5 seconds to talk. Still in it.
Come on, Alyssa. Come on, Alyssa. Got a curl. Curl! Dadgum curl!
I can block it backwards. They're quarterbacks. I'm going to be a quarterback for the Lakers. Oh, yeah. 40 yards back from there. We're in the line. That's what they should be proud of. Yes, that's what they're proud of. I can see.
Timing is going to be okay.
Nice.
Shaping up to be a nice looking in for Segovia here as they're sitting 1 and maybe 2. Alyssa Park's shot was a little light. Actually, I kind of liked the weight, but it didn't curl quite enough. It ended up just hitting the corner of this. So there is an opportunity for a hit and stick, and it's tracking to do so. This is over curling. She might get across the nose. If she does, it's going to roll to the right and open it up a little bit more. She's going to be on the outside. Ooh, and the door is ajar. The door is ajar for Segovia. Segovia sitting second shot. She's teeing it up here. She's going to go for a corner freeze. This is what we call a big girl shot. Big girl shot for Julie Segovia. Going to go for a corner freeze on that yellow sitting shot stone on the full 8, right-hand side. So weight sensitive. She's going to probably throw it out there and just give it to her sweepers. Jess Bostwick and Heather Cook can mow a mountain if they need to. This is all there. That's real heavy. It's real heavy, so it takes it out of the hands of the sweepers, and they're just begging for it to curl. Here it goes. It's curling. This is not going to be a freeze. It's going to be a tap back. It taps. It taps, but it does not get enough of the yellow. It spills out the back. I believe Texas is sitting second still. Yeah, what would you do if you were yellow? I don't even care because we don't care about yellow. Yeah, that's exactly what you
Laying 3 is really good pressure on her.
Yeah.
This is a nice 4-4 as well. Not too bad.
Yeah, if Asis goes for the second stone here, this red that's just biting the 8, knocks that back and sticks around, they're going to be sitting at least 3, and that puts all the pressure on Segovia. That's what they're calling. So Asis, curious, she's calling this draw across the center line, but she's going to say heavy draw, full 12 weight, even back line would be fine. I'm going to try and go down to that red stone that's sitting second shot. If they're able to tap that back, that'll have yellow sitting 1, 2, and 3 down to skip stones. Down to the last 2 stones. Put a lot of pressure on Segovia to try and find a place where she can put it. This is another one that's real heavy. Oh, this is in no man's land. Okay. Okay, pressure's on for Segovia to cut this down and apply the pressure and a force of 1. Gonna try and draw all the way to the full 8, edge of 8 on the right-hand side and sit there. Freeze would be behind guard. Sweepers think it's a little heavy, so they're staying back. Oh, here it curls. Now Bostwick's got to make sure it's past the guard. They got to really sweep to make sure it gets past the guard. They got to really sweep to it's past the guard. Now they get to get off. And they're off. And she taps it. Is it gonna stick around? Oh, Jesus, take the wheel. So precision tap back for Asis required here is if she gets to the nose, I think she can nose it and still clear that second stone. If she's able to nose, just get a little, a smidge off of the center to the right-hand side, she'll be able to pop that red through without moving that last yellow stone and take 2. And she thinks better of it, and it's just going to take her 1. So the force of 1. Open draw, she needs just a touch 4. A calm and collected Asis. What a pro. What a pro. Yeah. Yeah. So she's going to say she's okay with one looking at the scoreboard. Just wants full 4. Not even full 4, just touching 4. This looks heavy. This looks super heavy. It's a mile heavy. It's a mile heavy. Alyssa Park's going to come up here and make sure that it's going to flash all the way through. Sweep! And it's full 4 for 1. I'm trying. I'm giving her all she's got, Captain. And opportunity for Segovia as they take hammer.
Or are we still 2 again?
Oh, you and the peanut gallery, all right? Let's calm down here, huh? I think Segovia and company should have gone with bigger bows. I think these bows aren't quite big enough. Hold on to your armchairs as I adjust the camera. Okay, BRB.
No technical timeout, so.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they're trying to draw him on that. But he's low. I'll see you if you get on it. Yeah, we'll see you Monday. I hope everything is great. Monday.
This is arena curlers?
Yes, this is Arena National, so everybody here is Arena Curlers.
And so this ice is different for them.
This is as good as it gets. This is the best stuff we ever get to curl on. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's hard for them to adjust.
So it's two different thoughts here. You have people like Segovia who grew up in Canada, grew up on dedicated ice. That she moves to Houston and hates every minute of curling in Houston, curling on just crappy ice, and she'll do it begrudgingly and fuss about it all the time. But then this team in particular, Segovia, they travel all over to go find dedicated ice. So they do a lot of tournaments in Denver, especially, because it's pretty easy to pop over from Houston and Dallas to Denver.
Do they pop over to play arena?
No, they'll go for the dedicated facility, specifically Denver curling.
Hometown is arena.
Hometown is arena, yeah. It's entertaining to say the least.
I want to know if they got a Dallas person on the team.
So that is my wife. Heather was on the team Walsh at a DFW last year, and after this tournament, I think they played one more game. I think they played at club playdowns, and afterwards they just said, "Hey, let's shake hands and be friends," but kind of change up the dynamics of the team. And so they took Heather off the team, and it took about 7 minutes before news got down to Houston, and Segovia and company called them and said, "Hey, would you want to join Houston?"
Yeah.
And so in order to meet MACA guidelines, my wonderful sweet wife, unbeknownst to me, I was sitting there watching football one Saturday, and all of a sudden I started getting these calendar notifications of flight booked. She went down to Houston every weekend.
It's only 4 hours. Why wouldn't she just drive it? I know it's an ugly drive because I have family in Houston.
Yeah, so she flew down to Houston, or drove. She drove twice every week in February, March, and April to play enough league games to become an official member of Houston, so that she could be allowed to play for Team Houston Marines.
You know where I met you?
What do we mean? I was going to say, you look super familiar, and I know we've hung out.
Last year in Dallas, Texas, Summer Spiel.
You were at the Steers and Beers?
Steers and Beers.
That's why I don't remember. I'm white girl wasted that whole thing.
I got my trophy hanging in my shop.
That's right. You were one of the 4 guys. That's right. Very cool. Very cool. Are you up here?
Yeah, this is our home club.
This is your home club?
Yeah.
Very cool.
That's called arena. What is this?
Dedicated. Dedicated ice
Where they
versus
play
arena.
down in Dallas is actually a practice facility for the hockey team.
Yeah,
So, yeah, it's some.
It is bad.
It's
I'll tell
ice, but it's not.
It's entertaining to say the least. So I've got a big old ice pack here. I blew my knee out. Not blew it out, but I sprained my knee on Thursday because we went out there, and it's already pretty bad ice. But the Zamboni driver decided that he was gonna. What they'll do is the hockey players will finish practice, and the Zamboni driver will come out and dump an entire bucket of water on there and wait about 15 minutes so that it fills in all the grinds that these hockey players put in. We'll wait about 15 minutes and he'll come out and scrape it. Well, he went out to scrape, and he was digging down so much that he filled up the bucket on the Zamboni, and so he went out in the parking lot to go dump the bucket and smoke a cigarette. By the time he came back in, all the curlers were like, "All right, let's just go ahead and start." So they pulled all the rocks out, put it on the ice. So if you look here, he didn't get to finish cutting ice. So this is all cut ice. He didn't even cut the left-hand side of this sheet. And so that is just frozen water, and that is glass. I mean, it is so covered.
Did they go on after the pebble?
So they pebbled right over that. It was adorable. I took one step out on the ice and went butt to the sky. It just flipped over and twisted my knee, and I went full Karen, walking around asking to speak to the manager. So we get a lot of fun stuff with our ice.
You don't get lines or anything?
I mean, there's lines, but it's more. I like to describe it to dedicated ice curlers as bumpers, because that Zamboni will drive down in different paths. Instead of an ice king, it's a Zamboni, and so they'll create little ridges, and you can just throw a rock and bounce off of it. Trying to go for a hit here. This is hanging wide. Oh, that's never going to curl enough. So an opportunity again arises for Team Segovia on the Vice Stones. Did anybody catch what the call is?
They're trying to take out the yellow one.
Trying to do a takeout? Yeah.
She's playing
Yeah, the line's too light. The line's too narrow for promotion. So they're going to try and do a hit on that shot stone just left of center line. It's got to curl a stinking mile though. Oh my, oh my! Please don't hit. Please don't hit. Okay, that'll work. Kinda, sorta, not really. Oh gosh, this team.
I ordered for you.
Okay, looking in your viewfinder here. That is yellow sitting shot stone behind 2 guards. That shot stone on the left is full 8, not even touching the 4, so it's all in front of the tee. Second stone is that red center line. Third shot is that red all the way over there on the right-hand side at tee weight on the tee line. So Asis is going to try and hit. Not sure if she's going to try and roll over to the right or if she wants to nose. I don't even think she minds where the shooter goes as long as she gets this shot stone out. Or this second stone.
Keep you the journey. You're only going to get so far.
Does this get a double?
It's an adventure.
No, it does not get the double. Okay. She spills the shooter, gets that second stone, so now yellow's sitting 1. Second shot is still that red stone on the right-hand side. That red stone is above tee line, though, so they can't sit on it. Segovia is going to try and draw to the full 8. Right, that there's a gap of about 2 stones sitting between the second and between shot stone and third. Those 2 yellows over there. So she's going to try and draw and sit down right in between the 2. The line looks good. The line looks really good. The line looks really good. Look at this. Look at this, Julie.
Oh, Dad, got it.
She's 4 feet light. She's 4 feet light.
Who's that? Is that Dad? What's that? You don't talk too much yet. It does. Talks with his fingers and his eyes.
She's just trying to draw behind here. She's going to be light.
Like throwing up the shoes. He's got dinosaurs on his shoes. Oh, dinosaurs. You have 2 of them.
So yellow sitting 1 and 2. They're almost even with each other, so there's not an opportunity for Segovia to paper and try and go for the double. They're trying to figure out what options they've got. I think the only one they do have that's going to help maybe change the tides of this end is if they nose their red. It could go, a nose red might get a double on 1 and 2. She could also just look for the draw right around that yellow.
Looking for a new direction.
And that's what she's going to do.
This is the game.
If there's even 4 inches of this redstone hanging out after this, if there's even 4 inches of this redstone hanging out behind that yellow when this is done, Asis is just going to have to chip it for another 2, and that'll be handshakes. So big shot for Julie Segovia. She's trying to draw around behind that yellow to back 4. Just going to have to paper by this guard. Heather's got to get off it. This is plenty wide. Oh, she's heavy.
Try and get 6 ends.
Better listen to me next time.
For what? What'd you say? I didn't even hear.
Tell me we did too.
Did you?
Yeah, that's.
I think they went back home around 10 times. I was thinking, didn't want their run.
Oh, that was hammer. Apologies to our viewers, as I did not realize that was hammer, so she didn't even need to worry about where it was going to hang out. That just needed to be full 4, and she threw too heavy. That was back 12. So another steal of 2 for Asis. And the score is 7-1 going into the 8th. Segovia got them right where they want them.
Back again.
We'll expect these first few stones to go through the house for Asis. Segovia asked him for a corner guard.
Imagine that. Drinking on the air range. Yeah, go figure. I'm going to call people. Okay, we're going to do it like last year. Close her down. All right. Like old times. Just like old times. Minus a couple of hours.
She found me upstairs. We were going through. She found the trophy. Or not the trophy, the plaque. I don't know what the trophy is. But there's lots. So I think we're going to implement that again. There's lots of them. But they're actually the very first ones are on there.
Should be a few sororities.
You got it at home.
We went back.
It's not Rodney Carter. But there's.
Break that back, and then.
Those y'all just joining in for this last, and Segovia is down 7-1 in the 8th. So just going to throw up some guard. She was hoping that Bostwick would draw into the full 8, but she's going to get at least, she's going to touch paint, and that's fully guard. A really nice shot from Bostwick. Little 1-2 punch. Asis looks like she's going to go ahead and had her lead throw 2 through. Looks like instead of throwing this through, she's going to have not apply any unnecessary pressure to her second. She's going to ask for just a T-weight draw to the wing. This is carrying. This is going to be back house.
I'm going to do more. I'm going to go to the Alps. We go to the Virginia.
So they're going to sweep, see if they can carry it all the way through. They're trying to get it all the way through, it's not. It's going to stick around, and it's going to give Segovia some backing in the later couple of shots here. So now Heather Cook being asked for top 4 or T-line. As long as it parks itself behind these guards, it'll continue to apply some pressure.
I was gonna say you're gonna be the exhausted.
Yeah.
That's big time.
This looks really nice from Heather Cook. Alyssa Parks has got to really dig in. Got to dig in. Got to dig in. Got to dig in. Got to dig in. It's got to finish. It's got to finish. Doesn't quite curl enough, but Asis has seen enough. She's going to start asking for stuff to be peeled.
We're doing the same thing as last year. We're not going to try to guess shirts.
Six ends in the main.
Oh, and it sticks around.
I don't think we did the Haney. You brought it up and then we changed it.
It's not a biter, it's a nibbler, but that's the same thing. It'll still count as a point at the very end.
I didn't put that on the flyer.
They should keep it in the main.
So, Segovia still somewhat alive here. Going to ask for Heather Cook to draw into the house.
Well, the thing that gets tricky is if we have all the monies, then we run into problems.
This looks like T-line weight, maybe top 4. Just want to chip this as far over as possible and not set up. There it is. A nice shot from Heather Cook.
We hear it all.
Guys, you hear it all.
We hear it all. Yeah, I'm a little nervous because Hammer once he threw the idea out, and I think it's a good idea. But of course, I'm always nervous when we do any kind of change. But we thought that this would be a really good year.
This is on the guard.
So I'm a little nervous about that, but
That was better than what was it last year? They said we're gonna destroy everybody's name in a half. That didn't go anywhere.
he wanted to go back to the original ways because that's what it was originally done.
Really?
Yeah, when it first started, that's what they did. They took the guys that were
Okay. Segovia, you can see tapping the ice. She's going to ask for back 8 weight on the left-hand wing to get it sitting in front of that yellow for a potential jam later on in the end.
My problem with that is I don't like and there are some
I hear from them.
You hear from them. I always said that.
And that's going to be above T-line. That's going to be T-weight.
Well, I think back in the day, though, I mean, it was a totally different.
So, big shot here.
It was the old curling club. They had the can down on the ice. There wasn't. I don't think it was this kind of like we're Olympic curlers out here kind of momentum either. And you do have that in fun swingers. There's people that really have that thought in their head, like they're going to win.
It needs to curl.
I don't like losing.
It's curling quite a bit.
I'm as competitive as the next guy, but I still like to have fun. You don't want to ruin it. Yeah, we have plenty of people that are thinking they're winning the Cadillac at the end of all of the fun skips that we do.
I curled 1 year back in the because we put the sweeper thing down on the ice. And he was like, "Oh, go, go, go." He just This game, so they would probably kick this shit. Things close.
That's right.
It's over after 5.
Okay. Actually, a pretty good result. So you're saying there's a chance?
You know, and she was just little. And it's ever a chance that came off the ice. Yes, he was a shot off the ice. She walked out that door to the players' room and it almost hit Hannah in the face. Oh, he was so mad. And I thought,
Asis bailing on her strategy early of leaving the house open. Now she's going to start drawing. Now this is going to be a hit on this red shot stone.
We were a pretty good team. Curled kind of one of our like arts. Jeff Hands
And mathematically speaking, no six-banger for Segovia in the last as they run out of granite.
Would that be on a channel TV or not?
Which one? This? The game I've been streaming?
Yeah.
It would be on channel. It would be on Facebook. Facebook and YouTube. Yep. Just search for Curling Club of Houston. Yep.
There's no.
We gotta watch it again for this one.
I'm gonna go pop over because the men's team from Houston is over here on sheet 2, tied 6-6, and they're skip stones. All right, so a nice little run for Team Segovia. Disaster as X means game's done. X means they shook before the end was done. Final score 7-1. Segovia down to the undefeated Aces from Silicon Valley.
I didn't know the name, but it was Jody had a picture. I don't know if